Good afternoon, everyone. It is 4 o'clock here on the East Coast, and I'm delighted to be back with you again. And we're just going to welcome everyone onto our call. We're going to be starting a special session again with you right now, and we will be talking about a very important subject. So I just wanted to get comfortable. And if you have any questions for me, now is a perfect time to ask any questions that you may have. So you can certainly, let me just make sure everything's working here wonderfully. Oops, what is this? Hang on here a second. All right, I think we're live on Facebook. Yes, we are. Okay, great, wonderful. Just it's not looking the same as it used to. It was a little bit different before, but that's okay. It's all perfection. Why do all this stuff? What is your motivation? Why do you all this stuff? I don't understand the question. Why do I have all this stuff? Okay, Enjoy says, can I do your life script? You're talking about the Power Life Script with Bob Proctor's TIR program? Absolutely. Many people do. As a matter of fact, one of the lead people in TIR uses a Power Life Script. So yes. Okay, there was a question here earlier on Instagram. I'm not sure I understand it. So whoever is asking this question, Her A Vertisane, is asking about why do you do all this stuff? Sorry. Still don't understand your question. Sorry. Are you talking about why do I do all this stuff like with online, or why do I have the team that I have? Or maybe you can help me understand the question. I'd love to answer it. Okay. So today we are going to be talking about flexibility. And actually I was thinking we should change the subject for today. How about if we talk about something else? Huh? I was just thinking about changing the plan and seeing how you react or respond to it. And so I think you absolutely have to have a sense of humor. So I wanted to talk today about flexibility because a lot of people are getting caught up in a whirling, swirling place of negativity right now, and they're not focusing on the good, or they're not focusing on the benefits. Oh, okay. Somebody wants to know why am I sharing all these tricks for free? Because I love you. I want to help you. I love helping people. It's why I've been put on this planet, and I'm here to serve. And so absolutely, I'm stepping up to help people out every day. Okay, so someone says, I want to understand what your motivation every day is to read for doing what we're doing here with these live events, whether we're picking subjects and we're talking about it like today, talking about flexibility. And of course, we're doing another free event tomorrow. It's kind of like the show must go on type of idea. I'm doing something on manifesting. And so, hey, Vashi is here. Good to see you. And so the reason why I'm doing everything that I'm doing to answer your question for free, and why I'm doing what I'm doing to help. And so I've made significant positive changes in my life, and everyone who was struggling in relationships to being happily married and being in a healthy, happy, wonderful relationship for the last 15 years. And I thank God for that. And of course, financially, everything has changed in a very positive way for me. My business is successful and wonderful. So Superman Mindset says, I recorded my Power Life script yesterday and started listening to it multiple times. Thank you for your guidance. Well, you are very welcome. And I love that you're listening to it. This week, we actually gave away some additional recordings that are some scripts that I created. We gave them away for many of the authors that we have on our list, or many of the people that would love to be authors. So we created some recordings for some Power Life scripts and sent it out earlier this week. But we send out all these freebies and we notify everyone that's on our email list. So if you want to get on our email list, which I absolutely recommend that you do, go to morningmanifestation.com. It's a free subscription. I do videos 3 times a week as well, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And they're all designed to bring you ideas on how to manifest more in your life, or how to manifest more effectively or faster, or just how to manifest if that's what you're looking for. So go to Morning Manifestation and ensure that you do sign up for the Morning Manifestation movies, because you'll get them. But I do what I do because I love the materials. I have made big changes in my life, and I simply want to help other people. And that's it. It's what I believe to be my purpose in life. So today we're going to talk just for a few minutes about flexibility, and then I'm going to open up for any questions that you may have. So there's been a couple of questions that have already been submitted, and I noticed, Celine, I don't know if you saw them all, but there were a lot flying by on the Instagram feed here. So if you're able to grab some of those, that would be great as well. But flexibility, and the reason I wanted to talk about that today is there's a way that the dictionary defines flexibility. As a matter of fact, I looked it up the other day, and let's see if I can find it again. I actually don't have the document in front of me, but I just want to look up flexible. Flexible. Okay, so flexible is it capable of bending easily without breaking. Capable of bending easily without breaking. And I thought that, it was interesting that we're getting ready to do this event, because I was thinking, what a perfect description for what's going on in the world right now, right? Like, we've got things that are happening in the world that none of us have ever experienced before. And many people are feeling broken to some degree, or bent, if you will. And we're always at choice as to how we feel. And of course, I believe that, sorry, I was just distracted by a question that came in. I believe that we always have choice into how we feel. And regardless of what's going on in the world, we still always have, and we do right now, have opportunities for growth, opportunities for establishing another source of income or multiple sources of income, opportunities to grow our business, opportunities to earn more money. And so that opportunity is here right now. It's not something that's going to occur down the road, and it actually will occur down the road, because it's still going to be available then too, but the opportunities are right now. So we decided a couple of weeks ago to do something called the Go Now series, where we were giving some ideas on what people could do. And actually, we have everything recorded for that. So Celine, can you, it was a create your own economy was really what it was based on. And so we did a whole bunch of seminars on creating your own economy, just in general. And then we did a couple additional ones for authors, how you can create your own economy as an author. And we've been doing that over the last few weeks. So if you're a subscriber to our email list, and then you would have heard about it, and very likely you would have seen it. But if you're not a subscriber to our list, you may have missed it. So Celine, if you could maybe go find those links again and share them with people. Also, a great place to go is we created something called the Manifestation Toolbox. So you can just type in manifestationtoolbox.com, and you'll be able to get the content or all of the freebies there. And you know what we should do, Celine and Eric, I'm not sure if Eric's on the call as well, but what we should do is we should create those author, create your own economy, and the other one there, the peggymccall.com/economy link. We should put that on the Manifestation Toolbox as well. It may already be there, I don't know. But so we created something called Author Insider Secrets. We created something called Create Your Own Economy. We created something called Go Now Business. And all of these are designed to show people where the opportunities are. And these are just some of the opportunities. There's endless amounts of opportunities that are available to everyone right now, no matter where you are in the world. But if you're not flexible and you're not being open to new ideas, you won't even see them. And so you must be a flexible person. And I have said for years and years and years that my middle name is Flexible. So often I'll tell people, they'll say, what's your full name? I'll say, it's Peggy Flexible McColl. And they'll laugh, that's funny, ha, ha, ha. And it's not my given name. My given name is Margaret Elizabeth McColl. And so flexible, I say that it's my middle name because I've become flexible in life and I've become very flexible in business as well. And I think you have to be. Now, there's certain things that you won't be flexible for. And I was thinking about this today. For example, if you have values, which I'm sure you do, there's certain values. And if your values were compromised, you probably don't have any flexibility there, right? Like I know for me, I have very, very important values in my life and in my relationship and or relationships, multiple relationships in my business. And there are certain values about honesty and integrity and authenticity in business. And of course, in relationships about commitment and loyalty and things like that. So with those kinds of things, I'm not flexible, and that's okay. I don't think that I should be flexible. But with other things, changes of plans, like a lot of people get all uptight about that, things change or what's happening now. And then people get all bent out of shape or upset or angry or whatever. And it's like, that's not serving you. So by being more flexible, and by that, what I mean is just being able to adjust when the unexpected occurs in your life is important. So you've got to that's where I think flexibility is really important, to have that flexibility. And then to also just be looking for the good in the change, right? Finding the blessing in the change. There's so many messages that are going on right now, and I'm sure you're seeing it too, right? If you have the television on, sometimes at night, my husband and I will watch a little bit of TV. If we're getting into new routines as well. We're taking the dogs out on the golf course and they're running around out there. And we're doing that every evening after we have dinner. We're building campfires outside in our outdoor fireplace and sitting out there and chatting. Sometimes we'll play some games. My husband's learning Spanish, so he's been sharing some of his lessons with me because he learns Spanish during the day, and then we'll chat about it at night. And so we've seen, these commercials that have been on television, like car commercials or other different types of commercials that are airing. And a lot of them have changed their commercials. And I remember when it first started, like when we were first all told to stay home. And I mean, that was a surprise for people, right? It was just such a shock in some ways to many people to be told, get back to your country and don't go out and quarantine. And if you've been away, stay home for 2 weeks. And, all these new rules were established. And I remember very early in this quarantine experience, there was a television commercial for, I think it might have been Kia or Hyundai. I don't know which one, but one of those two automobile manufacturers. And it was a great commercial. And it was basically saying that as a corporation, they recognize what's going on in the world. And of course, many people have stopped earning income the way they had been previously earning income. Of course, there's new opportunities to earn income. And so people have stopped earning income. So the commercial that they did for Hyundai or Kia said something like they're understanding of what's going on in the world and they're ready to move payments. I think Toyota's doing this as well. They're either going to not have payments for anyone that wants to lease or buy a car. I guess maybe it's buying, I don't know. I didn't pay particular attention to all the details of it, but the idea was that they were very flexible on payments and they would push payments off for 6 months. In other words, you can go to the dealership, get a new car, drive it for 6 months and not have to pay anything until 6 months later. And I was impressed with that. And I was impressed with that for two reasons. Number one, they're being very sensitive to what's going on in the world. And number two, they were fast. They moved quickly. They moved fast on what was going on in the world. We did the same. Like right away, me and my team, Eric, Celine, Trace, we've all been, I'm going to use the words bending over backwards. And I only say that because I know the team has been working a lot more hours than they normally do. And working weekends as well, especially Celine. She's been off the charts amazing, and Eric and Trace too. I mean, that these guys have been working. I remember one night Eric was working till well after midnight getting something ready for a free event that we were doing, and I was so impressed with that as well. So the flexibility that I'm talking about here is having that flexibility to adjust as things are going along, but do it, fast, right? Just be really, really flexible. That's what we started to do. As soon as this all started, we moved right into action. We've been running these special events now every week for the last month. And I think it was about a month ago when all the quarantine stuff had started. So we're doing it because we care. We're doing it because we really want to help people. We want to contribute to other people. That is the purpose. That's what's behind it. And we're very, very happy to do it as well. And I love the love that the team has as well, because I know Celine loves you guys. She's here to support you. She's constantly thinking of new ideas. I don't think there's a day go by where I don't get another great suggestion from Celine on how we can do things even better. It's just who she is in her heart. I thank God that I have her on our team, that she's here to help me, help you. And so, yeah, I don't know where I was going with that train of thought, but the idea, I think you've got the idea, is that flexibility is really about being ready to adjust, and not only being ready to, but adjusting as you're going along, right? It's not enough to just, feel flexibility. You got to act on it. So you definitely want to act on it as well. So we're going to go to questions now. I want to address some questions here. We're already 15 minutes into it. I'm always impressed at how fast time flies when you're having some fun. So we had a question that was submitted in advance, 2 questions actually. So I'm going to address those first, and then I'm going to go to the questions that have been asked so far today. So Seema is asking the question. She says, first of all, thank you for your inspiration and motivating live videos. I'm kindly requesting advice. What steps can I take now to become a successful personal development coach? All right, Seema, that is a great question. I would suggest that. Now, I don't know anything about you or a lot about you. I believe that if you've got the knowledge and the ability to communicate and help and advise and guide people, you could be a coach now. And you see, what a lot of people think is that they have to go get certified somewhere to become a coach. And there's so many different places. I'm sure it makes people's heads spin when they see how many different options there are to go and get trained to be a coach. We're actually thinking about, we haven't moved into action on this, but we've been thinking about creating something called Destiny's Coaches. And we may or may not do that in the future. It's an idea we've played with for a number of years now. But I started coaching only after I had created positive change in my own life, and after I'd been studying personal development for many, many years. So I started coaching in 1994. And so I had been studying personal development at that point for about 15 years. So I had been into it a long time, had experienced a lot of positive change. I was also a teacher, not in a school, although I taught night school at colleges, but I've been teaching for many, many years. So I felt very confident that I would do a great job as a coach. So that's why I decided to get into coaching. So I think a lot of it has to come down to how you feel, whether you feel confident enough that you would do great coaching. And if so, start coaching. It's not rocket science here. It really is helping people get the solutions or get the answers that they're looking for. It really is a big part of it. Now, you could do specialized coaching as well. I do coaching on manifestation, just general manifestation type of coaching. I've done coaching where I've had people come in my home for an entire day, and all we did was work on their Power Life script. And of course, I've done coaching for people that want to set up their businesses online and get that going. And I've done coaching for people that want to write their book. And I've had people come to my home and write their books in my home or one of my homes as well. So that's what I would suggest there. If you feel comfortable enough, you've got enough knowledge and experience, and you feel confident with yourself that you could do it, then go for it. I'm sure it would be great. Okay, the next question that was asked is a question from Rahul, who says, what is the difference between expectation and belief? All right, that is a great question. I believe expectation can come from belief. So you'll have a sense of expectation. Like, I expect to do well. Why? Because that's my belief. Now, how did I get that belief? I got that belief by impressing it upon my subconscious mind through space-time repetition of that idea over and over again by listening to my Power Life script. And so I created the belief within me. So the expectation comes from belief. That's what I believe. So hopefully that answers your question, Rahul. And if not, you can ask me and I can expand on that a little bit further. All right, we've got more questions that have come in. Celine says I had answered the other 3 questions early. Okay, perfect. Okay, Whipsome says, does $1 million a month help to get your programs advertised? Okay, great question. So for those of you that are not familiar with what $1 million in a month is, Celine, can you put the link for the millionamonth.com/now, the one that shares with others where they can go to find out more about the program, $1 million in a month? So $1 million in a month is a program that we created and launched to show people how to set up a business online, is really what it is. And so as far as advertising is concerned, we talk about multiple ways that you can promote your business. So we talk about many different ways that you can promote your business. Well, thank you for the kind words. And so advertising could be part of it. It's not something that we include in the program, but we definitely talk about it as well. We're running ads right now. You may have even seen them on some of the social media networks. So we do run ads. And so we do talk about that. We talk about multiple ways. We actually talk about ways that you can promote yourself or your business through organic ways. Because, organic ways are ways that you can get a lot of exposure without paying for it. All right. That's what organic is. So we talk about that as well, which, we really try and help people establish themselves online for as little investment as possible. All right. The question was asked, how do you control your emotions? How do you control your emotions? This is such a wonderful question. I wrote a book called Your Destiny Switch, which the subtitle is Master Your Key Emotions and Attract the Life of Your Dreams. And I would highly recommend that book. I'm just going to grab it off my bookshelf. So don't go anywhere. I'm still here. So here it is, Your Destiny Switch. So what I recommend that you do is get yourself a copy of this book. It's on Amazon. And the entire book, it's about, 60,000 words. The entire book explains how to manage your emotions. It explains the nature and the power of your emotions and then how to control them. And so there's an entire section that talks about switching techniques as well, managing your emotions. So there's obviously a lot to it. It's something that I've been teaching for a long time, but I believe a big part of managing your emotions is to be aware. Thank you. Be aware of what emotions you're expressing in any given moment. So if you find yourself expressing emotions that are non-supportive, in other words, they're destructive and not helpful to get the results that you want, then you switch over to a positive emotion. I was actually doing a recording yesterday. It was a training program that we're doing, and I was talking about this exact same thing. And you're going to find some information about that as well in the manifestation toolbox, because I talk about noticing your emotions and measuring your emotions using something called the vibrational alignment sheet. So make sure you check out the manifestation toolbox as well. But you've got to be aware of what your emotions are at all times, and also aware that you're the one that's in control of your emotions. And you switch them by deciding to switch them. You just make a choice. And if you're finding that, let's say you're angry, as an example, you're experiencing anger. Well, once you notice you're experiencing anger, just stop it, because you can. You have a choice to. And just ask yourself, what do I choose to feel right now? And then you could ask yourself, what's great about this situation, or what's a positive that I can look at here or in this experience that would cause me to feel better right now. And so what that is simply a technique for changing your emotions, for managing your emotions, and then switching over to positive. And then, of course, you want to be really focusing on positive emotions all the time, because the more positive you feel, the better your results, the better you're attracting into your life. And you really want to be attracting only good into your life. All right, let's go to the next question here. I just love serving you guys. This is fun. Okay, the next question is from, oh, I like this one. How do I find purpose in life? I want to serve people too. I want to spread positivity, but deep down, I am sad too. Okay, well, sad is the opposite of happiness. So do things that cause you to feel happy. Start to imagine you're happy. I remember years ago being at one of Bob Proctor's events, and he would just say the word joy. Joy, joy, joy. And I don't know where he learned that. It was a technique that someone had taught him. And but the idea was to focus on an emotion that felt better. So focus on that. But how do you find your purpose? I think it's just a matter of really sitting down and saying, why do I think I'm here? You know, what do I believe my purpose is in life? And the answer that you come up with is totally yours. It's not something that has to get approved by anyone, or it has to, you know, match certain things or criteria. Your purpose could be anything you decide for it to be. So in the 90s, you know, after I had incorporated my company, I started to do seminars, and I was, you know, working in my business, Dynamic Destinies. I decided that my purpose is I'm here to make a positive contribution to the lives of millions. That's why I'm here. And I'm going to live every day on purpose. And so every day I wake up and I ask myself this question, and I'm pretty sure Celine asks herself this question too. And the question that I ask myself is, how will I serve today? How will I serve better today than I did yesterday? How will I help people with prosperity consciousness? How will I help people today manifest their dreams? And so this has become a way of life for me, a code of conduct. Even if I'm not doing what we're doing right now as a live event, or if I'm not on a call with a client or teaching or doing open Q&A calls or standing at an event, speaking at an event, I'm thinking about stuff. I'm thinking about you. I'm thinking about work. I have my phone with me at all times. I get inspired with ideas. You can ask my team, because every week we're all getting together with wonderful ideas, new ideas, and doing things that are you know, here to serve you in wonderful ways. And what I think is important in the whole purpose is to just be honest with yourself. What do you think it is? And, you know, not everybody has a purpose, right? Or they don't think they have a purpose, or they haven't established a purpose, and nor do they care, right? I care because it's my business. My business isn't just a business. It's not something that's separate from me. My business is me. It's not the only thing or the only part of my life, but it's definitely a very, very important part of my life. Very important part of my life. My family's number one. And of course, the business is right up there as well. So that's, I think, just decide what it is. And, you know, in your question, I'm kind of seeing a purpose here, because your question says, I want to serve people and spread positivity. So maybe that's your purpose. My purpose is to serve people in positive ways, or my purpose is to serve people and spread positivity. I mean, it could be that, which would be perfect. I like that a lot. Okay, June says, how can I prepare myself to write something that has an emotional challenge associated with it? Wow, June, that's a great question. I had a very similar question like that last week when I did the free author events that I did. We did these Create Your Own Economy as an author events last Thursday and Friday. And that question was asked. And there was I think it was during one of those calls, or it might've been on the live Q&A call for my author program. But nonetheless, that question was asked in the last month. And interestingly enough, when I was working on this book, Your Destiny Switch, and I was writing the beginning of the book, my agent had told me, she said, bleed from the page. And I said, what do you mean? And she said, you've got to go back in time and really connect to what was going on for you in your life at that time. And that was emotional for me. It was a painful time. I mean, I was in emotional pain before I got into personal development. I mean, I would cry myself to sleep. I was thinking I was just worthless and had no desire to live. And it's not a great place to be. And so thank you, Celine, for posting that link again, peggymccall.com/author economy. You want to check out those videos, by the way. And so I was asked to really go back in time and connect to that emotional, challenging time in my life and share it in my book. And I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do it because I didn't want to go back and remember the pain. but yet she said it's important. So what I learned to do was do it as an observer, just like I'm doing now. I can talk about being in pain, but I'm not blubbering all over the place. My father used to say, right? I'm not crying my eyes out. I'm just talking about, when I was younger, a teenager, had no will to live, cry myself to sleep. I remember sitting on a park bench thinking about how I'm going to end it all. Like I didn't want to live any longer. And so you can do it and really get to the essence of it, but do it in a way that you're doing it as much as you can from an observer. I had a wonderful client of mine just recently sent me her book. And this is a lovely lady who I'm very blessed to have in my author program. She's in the complete author program. And she went through a horrific experience in her life, absolutely horrific experience. And she had sent me her book because she wanted me to endorse it. But her book it's beautifully written. It's a beautiful message. There's pain obviously in it because of what she'd gone through, but she created something that to me is like a masterpiece. It really is a great gift that I know she's going to bring to the world. And she wrote it to help other people, either help other people that have gone through a similar situation that she's gone through, or whether it's to help people that have gone through some kind of emotional pain. But she had to go back in time and really tell the story and reconnect to what happened to her. And that must have been really challenging. I'm certain it was challenging for her, but she did it. And I'm glad she did. And I know the many readers that are going to receive her book are going to be very glad that they did. So maybe part of what you can also do, June, is to think about why you're writing it and how it's going to help other people or how it will benefit them. So that's what I did when I was working on Your Destiny Switch, is that, I talked about, drinking to the point, like drinking alcohol to the point of just passing out, because that would numb the pain, but not the next day. It'd be a different kind of pain, right? And it obviously wasn't helping. It was hurting. And so I did talk about that in the book as well. So hopefully my own experience can help. And I know it has. Not hopefully it can. I know it has helped. In June, I suspect that's going to be the same thing for you. All right, the next question is from Katerina. When is the key time to start hiring to expand your business when you are starting to build income that is not necessarily steady, but could be better if you had help to scale? Okay, now would be a good time. When hiring people, where do you look for trustworthy resourceful people that share your vision goals, i.e., how do you find and build your team? Love that question, Katerina. I believe we attract them into our life. So sounds to me like you're someone who's trustworthy, somebody who has goals. And I find that you tend to attract like-minded people to you, but I would declare that. I would actually declare that to the universe, that you're so happy and grateful that you've attracted the absolute perfect people or person to your team. That's what I did. And of course, then I attracted Trace first. I attracted Kayla, I attracted Celine, I attracted Eric, attracted Sabrina, and all of them are very heart-centered, trustworthy people that I really love and cherish and appreciate. And I believe that I attracted them to me, and I'm attracted to them. So Celine attracted me, Eric attracted me, we all attracted each other as well. All right. Thank you for these questions. They're so good. The next question is from Valentine. What was the paradigm you changed that made the huge difference in your life? Wow. That has to be, Valentine, one of the best questions I've ever been asked. Absolutely. I have head to toe goosebumps. I love, oh my goodness, I just love this question, Valentine. Oh, but time's up, so we got to go. Just kidding. I'll be flexible and we'll go longer. I think I said we'd go longer the other day anyways. Okay, so what was the paradigm that I changed that made the biggest difference in my life? Are you ready? Worthiness. It was worthiness. That was it. You see, I didn't think I was worthy before, and I realized it. I realized that I had that paradigm. So I worked, and I'm going to say it in past tense, but I still work on it. Still work on it to this day. So worthiness is really, really the biggest thing that made the difference for me. Worthy of love, worthy of success, worthy of abundance. And, I was raised, yeah, self-worth, with some, I was raised in a very poor environment. And if I said something to my parents, and I know my parents were working hard, my father was working as a janitor. My mother was working she was working in a factory, and we lived in a tiny house. And they just didn't have money. I'd go to school and rip clothes. I'm grateful that I had clothes, now that I think about it, but I didn't feel like it at the time because I was embarrassed the way I was showing up at school. And if I said something to my parents, like, I'd really like to have a coat, a new coat or something like that, I would get screamed at, like, who the hell do you think you are? And I, like, just imagine this little innocent girl who, asked for something, and then it just got, like, screamed at. So that actually created within me. And it wasn't once. This went on, all the time. You ask for something and you're going to get, shut down. And I think, there's some people on this call that can probably relate to that. And I know Eric can probably relate to that. Actually, I don't know if Eric could relate to that. I'm guessing Eric could relate to that. But anyways, it wasn't fun. It was not an enjoyable experience. Yeah, heartbreaking. Yeah, it was. It's heartbreaking, if I see that kind of thing going on now. If I see parents in a store, speaking to their kids like that. Yeah. So somebody just said, "Sounds like you grew up like me." I did. Very likely, I did. And so I didn't feel worthy, even as a teenager, and I didn't feel worthy of anything that I wanted. And then when I started getting into relationships, having a boyfriend as an example, I had a boyfriend in high school. I wrote about him actually in Your Destiny Switch, because he was the first person, my boyfriend in high school was the first person to ever tell me that he loved me. And he might even be watching, actually, because we are friends on Facebook. And he was the first person to ever say, "I love you." I'd never heard those words before. I never heard it directed to me. And so as a teenager, I was in high school. He was in high school, and we started dating. And he said he loved me. And I cried like a baby, because I thought, wow, somebody loves me. Like, can you imagine, like, never hearing those words? And then if someone tells you they love you, I didn't think I was lovable. And so realize that, and then in high school, in my final year of high school, my high school boyfriend, who I obviously was in love with and loved him, he dumped me, and I was devastated. And then, of course, that just confirmed I wasn't lovable. And so it's just like paradigm built to be so strong. It was like this enormous monster. And so I had to deal with that. And how I dealt with it was I created the belief that would be the opposite of unworthy, worthy, right? I am worthy. I'm worthy of love. I'm worthy of success. I'm worthy of abundance. I deserve to be successful. Those kinds of things. And of course, I put all of it in my Power Life script, and it's still there to this day. So thank you so much, Valentine, for asking such an important question. I really appreciate you asking. I appreciate you being here as well. Okay, Jenny is saying, how do you serve when there are so many people already serving? I love that question. It makes me chuckle, Jenny, but I love that question. I really do love that question. And I think I might have even had that same thought, at some point, maybe not for a long, long time, but it's true. There are a lot of people that are out there serving. But what I found is that when you ask that question, Jenny, it reminds me of being in San Diego, and we're going back a number of years, probably 2008, something like that. And I walked into this convention center in San Diego, and I was speaking at a convention, and there were going to be 5,000 people there. And it was Louise Hay. It was a Hay House event. It was called I Can Do It. I don't know if any of you have ever been to any of the I Can Do It events. I've spoken at many of them. And so I was at this I Can Do It event, and Louise Hay got on stage, and she was the opening speaker for the first night, and basically setting the stage for the whole multi-day event that we were going to be doing. And Louise said the following. She said, over the next few days, you're going to hear from many speakers, many of our Hay House authors, and many speakers, including myself, meaning her. there was Louise Hay and Wayne Dyer and Greg Braden and Doreen Virtue and Sonia Choquette. And I mean, all these wonderful Hay House speakers, Colette Baron Reed. And so she said, but you're going to hear like, a number of speakers. I forget how many speakers were there, 30, 50. It was a large number. And she said, I want you to know that, yeah, me too. I loved her so much. I want you to know that you're going to be hearing, this is what Louise said, you're going to be hearing the same message over and over again, but delivered by a different messenger. And so, Jenny, there are not new messages that are being shared in the world. There are new messengers, and the world needs new messengers. I remember when I had submitted Your Destiny Switch to Hay House to go into what's called production. They had a party. Actually, Reed Tracy, who's the president of Hay House, had a party at his house, and I went. My husband came with me, and it was a party to celebrate Louise's 80th birthday. And Sylvia Brown was there. Like I remember it like it was yesterday. And I remember chatting with the folks at Hay House, and I had said to them, I said, what I really, really would like to call this book is the following: The World Doesn't Need Another Self-Help Book. That's what I was going to call the book. And as a joke, right? The world doesn't need another self-help book. And of course, I thought it was funny. It was just really being humorous, because I don't think the world does need another self-help book. And of course, I have 17 of them now, and I'm working on another one, and I have another one that's going to be coming out. I don't know how many books I'll release in this lifetime, maybe 30, 40, who knows? And, but the thing is, the world really needs another messenger, because what happens is, with all the different speakers, trainers, experts, authors that are in the world, they're all delivering their message in their own unique way. And people tend to resonate with people based on how their message is communicated or delivered. And I think it's really important to be unique and be creative. Like this whole idea of the, Your Destiny Switch is based on a concept that I created for myself using dimmer switches, right? I had gone to the hardware store and I bought a panel of dimmer switches, and I labeled these switches so that I would measure and monitor my own emotions. I'm just trying to find it, if I can show you what the switch looks like. There it is right there. And so this whole idea, I'm just going to show that on all the 3 platforms, this whole idea of switches and these switching techniques and a Destiny Switch was all something that just came out of my own consciousness. But it's still delivering the same messages that we're learning from Bob Proctor and Dr. Joseph Murphy and Maxwell Maltz and all the great people that I've studied as well, because I'm basically, just like every other expert, speaker, author out there, we're all regurgitating the same information. We're delivering it through our own filter system, which is our own belief systems, and we're bringing it out to the world as best as we can. So you've got to really believe in yourself in this case. You got to believe in you, your message, and believe that people are going to really resonate with it. There will continue to be more and more speakers in this genre, but the information is it's timeless. It's all timeless information. How to create success is not something that was just established in the last 15 years. This has been around for centuries. All right. So I hope that encourages you to get out there and do your own thing. And maybe you're already doing that. Okay, someone is asking the question, what's your view on sacrifice? Does one have to sacrifice all to achieve mastery? No. And I love that. I love that you're asking that question. I remember, hearing different speakers talk about sacrifice as well. Like they'd say, what are you prepared to give up to have what you want? And I think sometimes that scares people. What do you give up? Like, I got to give up my arm, or my eyes, like my family. No, that's not really what it's talking about. It's kind of like that whole philosophy of, I was chatting with my accountant earlier today, actually took all my personal tax stuff over to him. He lives way out in the country. It was a beautiful drive. And I really, I was thinking about it driving there, thinking I could have mailed this to him or couriered it to him, but it was nice to get it out of the house, right? And go for a drive. And he lives in the country, and I was just leaving it at his front door, and he knew that. And so I was so I got over to where he lives. He lives actually on a farm, beautiful 100-acre farm. So I got to his property and he came out and we were standing far apart, probably a good 10 feet apart. And we're talking about what's going on. And I asked him, because I didn't realize he lived so far out because his office is downtown Ottawa. And I said, are you enjoying being home? Not having to drive into Ottawa every day and drive back, rush hour in, rush hour back. And he said, what I'm finding is that it doesn't feel like there's a weekend anymore. He said, I'm working 7 days a week. And he said that, I guess based on the work that he's doing and not having access to everything and getting people on the phone has become a little more challenging. So he said he's finding it a little more challenging, but he's managing through it. But the question about sacrifice reminds me of being an entrepreneur and establishing a business or doing online. Let's say you decide you want to create your own business online. There's sacrifice involved that you've got to study and then follow through, do the work. Sometimes there's some investments that are required as well. To me, those are the sacrifices. That's what I believe they're talking about. So rather than just, sitting back and doing nothing, because I know there's people that aren't earning any money right now, and rather than being unproductive or non-productive, that it's a time that you can get productive. So the sacrifice might be, rather than watching television for several hours, you turn it off and you do it. Or sacrifice of trying to think of what other sacrifice there might be right now. But anyways, I believe that the sacrifice doesn't mean you have to give up what's most important to you. That's my belief. And I've certainly not given up what's most important to me, and nor would I have ever given up what's most important to me, because my values are too strong in that way. But the sacrifice is really the amount of energy, effort, investment, time that you're putting into your goals. I believe that's what it's really talking about. Yeah. All right. The next one, author economy and create your own economy, is up on the manifestation toolbox. Thank you, Eric. Wow, Eric, look at that. You ask for things and you get them. I love that. Thank you so much, Eric. So Eric has added that. So make sure you do go to manifestationtoolbox.com. It's a great place to go. We've got all these free tools. We're doing that to help you. There's also the webinars there for that we did last week and this week, so you can check them all out. Okay, everyone. Well, it's been a pleasure to be with you again today. I wish you a wonderful weekend. We're going to be back with you again next week, although we do have a free event tomorrow. And this event tomorrow is an event that I'm doing with my good friend, Phil Goldfine. And Phil Goldfine is speaking of flexible, I was thinking about Phil today. Phil Goldfine is an Academy Award-winning producer. He's also won a Grammy or an Emmy and a Tony. I mean, he's just got so many. He's won a gold medal in swimming, not in the Olympics, but in another competition. And he's just a wonderful, accomplished guy who studies these materials. We've become really good friends. I met him. Actually, he came to one of my events, and that's where I met him. He's a very serious student, a phenomenal guy. And anytime I ask him for something, he's like, sure, yeah, absolutely, yes. And it's not a okay kind of answer. It's always absolutely, definitely, whatever you want, anything to serve. So tomorrow we're doing this event. Now, Celine, I'm not sure if you can put the link on the 3 platforms or not. Okay, okay. But we're doing this event tomorrow for, it's called, hang on a second here. Let me just scan the show must go on. That's what it is. The show must go on. And so we're going to talk about manifesting. So you can check that out. You may have seen the email already. We've had hundreds and hundreds of people register for it already. Huge. Trace, who's on our team, was telling me that as of this morning, we had an 87% opt-in rate. That means 87 out of 100 people that saw that we're doing this free event, all of them, or 87 of the 100 signed up. So pretty attractive. We're doing that on Friday at 12 noon. And what we'll do is we'll put it in the manifestation toolbox. So, thank you, Celine. She's just putting the link up here now. But we'll make sure. So Eric, since Eric's on the call, Eric, would you mind maybe making a note for yourself to put the event that I'm doing with Phil tomorrow into the manifestation toolbox after we deliver it, or now? You could probably put the link in there now, and then and then we can switch it up for the recorded version of the video. It is on at 12 noon tomorrow, but if you can't make it, we will record it and you'll be able to join us again, or you'll be able to watch it a little bit later. Okay, so thanks, guys. It was great to be with you. I wish you a wonderful weekend, and thank you, Celine. Thank you, Eric. Not sure if Trace was here or not. I know Trace has been working very hard today. Sometimes he gets on our live events. Sometimes it's in the evening and it's kind of late for him right now. But either way, I wish you guys a great weekend, and I look forward to being back with you next week. Thanks so much, guys. Bye-bye for now.